The darkness of space held no secrets from Grand Admiral Vexvar as he stood on the command bridge of his flagship. 800 warships stretched out before him in perfect formation. Ships from 12 different alien races had joined his fleet. The Valkyrie Empire had never assembled such a massive force before. Vexvar's 4 eyes gleamed with satisfaction as he watched the fleet reports scroll across his screens. Battle cruisers from the Zelthan Confederation floated beside hunter-destroyers from the Morvac clans. Even the mysterious Korthok had sent their crystal ships to join this great crusade, all of them united under one banner. All of them ready to crush the human colony that dared to exist in their space. The target was New Busan, a small human world on the edge of known space. Intelligence reports said it had maybe 6 patrol ships for defense, 6 ships against 800. Vexvar allowed himself a rare smile. This would be the easiest victory in Valkyrie military history. On the surface of New Busan, Park Min-ho stared at the emergency alert flashing on his desk screen. As the colony administrator, he had seen many crisis reports over the years. Pirates, resource shortages, equipment failures, but nothing like this. The deep space sensors had detected the largest alien fleet anyone had ever recorded, and it was heading straight for them. Park pressed the emergency button on his desk. Red lights began flashing throughout the administration building. Within minutes, his senior staff rushed into the conference room. Kim Nari arrived first. She was the colony defense coordinator, and had served in the Earth Defense Force before coming to New Busan. Her face was grim as she read the sensor data. "How long do we have?" Park asked. Kim checked her tablet. 18 hours at their current speed, maybe 20 if they slow down to maintain formation. "What about our defenses?" Kim's expression grew darker. 6 patrol ships, 2 of them are in dock for repairs. The orbital platforms have basic shields and some missile pods. Against 800 ships, she did not finish the sentence. Yoon Jaeon, the chief engineer, spoke up. "I can boost power to the planetary shields. Maybe buy us a few extra minutes when the shooting starts." "What about evacuation?" asked Han Soo-jin, the head of Colonial Medical Services. Park shook his head. 40,000 colonists. Our transport ships can maybe take 5,000 at a time. We need at least 8 trips to get everyone out. Don't have that kind of time." The room fell silent. Everyone understood what this meant. New Busan was going to fall. The only question was how many people would survive. Far out in the cold, emptiness of the outer system, space suddenly twisted and bent. A ship dropped out of hyperspace in a flash of blue light. It was not like the alien vessels approaching New Busan. This ship was human in design. But unlike any human ship the colonists had ever seen, the UES Indomitable hung motionless in space. Its hull was dark gray metal, with strange patterns that seemed to shift and flow in the starlight. The ship measured 800 meters from nose to tail. Not the largest warship ever built, but there was something about its design that suggested terrible purpose. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Captain Li Guan studied the tactical display. 800 enemy ships moved toward New Busan in attack formation. His dark eyes showed no emotion as he processed the information. This was exactly what Earth Command had predicted would happen. "Tactical analysis complete, Captain," reported Choi Dae-ho from the weapons station. "Standard alien fleet composition. Mix of energy weapons and kinetic projectiles. Nothing we haven't seen before." Lee nodded. "Any sign they've detected us?" "Negative. We're running silent, and their sensors can't penetrate our stealth systems." "Good. How long until they reach New Busan?" 17 hours and 32 minutes at current speed." Lee turned to his communications officer. "Open a channel to Earth Command." "Priority Alpha." The view screen flickered and the face of Admiral Chen appeared. He was an old man with gray hair and tired eyes. The weight of humanity's secret war showed on his weathered features. "Captain Lee, I trust you've seen the situation." "Yes, sir. 800 ships. Colonists don't stand a chance with conventional defenses. New Busan is home to 40,000 civilians. Many of them have families back on Earth. We cannot let them fall to alien slavers." "Understood, Admiral." "What are my orders?" Admiral Chen was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of difficult decisions. You were authorized to reveal Project Guardian. Show them what humanity has become. Lee felt a chill run down his spine. Project Guardian had been humanity's greatest secret for 5 years. While the outer colonies struggled with basic technology, Earth had achieved breakthrough after breakthrough. Quantum computers that could think faster than human minds, exotic matter that could bend space and time, weapons that could unmake matter at the atomic level. Sir, once we reveal our capabilities, there's no going back. Every alien race in the galaxy will know what we've become. The decision has been made, Captain. Protect New Busan. Show the galaxy that humanity will defend its own. The transmission ended. Lee turned back to his crew. Each of them had volunteered for Project Guardian. Each of them had undergone the enhancement process that allowed them to interface directly with their ship's systems. They were still human, but they were also something more. All stations prepare for combat operations, Lee announced. Activate primary systems. Throughout the ship, systems that had been dormant came online. The hull began to shift and change as hidden weapon ports slid open. Energy readings spiked as the quantum reactors reached full power. The Indomitable was transforming from a silent hunter into an instrument of war. Back on New Busan, colonists continued their desperate preparations. They had no idea that salvation hung in the darkness beyond their world, no idea that humanity had evolved far beyond what they thought possible. In space, the alien fleet continued its advance. Grand Admiral Dexavar stood on his bridge and dreamed of victory. He had no way of knowing that in less than 18 hours, his mighty armada would cease to exist. The storm was gathering. Humanity was ready to show the galaxy what they had learned in the darkness between the stars. Captain Lee Guan sat in his command chair aboard the UES Indomitable. The bridge was quiet, except for the soft hum of advanced systems. His crew worked at their stations with calm efficiency. Each of them knew what was coming. Each of them was, "Ready, Captain," called out Ominji from the communications station. "The alien fleet is now within standard communication range of New Busan." Lee nodded. "Open a channel to the alien flagship, full diplomatic protocols." The view screen flickered and the image of Grand Admiral Vexvar appeared. The Velkari commander was tall and thin with gray skin and 4 black eyes. His uniform was covered in medals and honors from dozens of conquered worlds. Looked at Lee with obvious contempt. "I am Grand Admiral Vexvar of the Velkari Empire. You will identify yourself immediately." Lee kept his voice calm and professional. "I am Captain Lee Juan of the United Earthship Indomitable. I am here to offer you one chance to withdraw your fleet peacefully." Vexvar's laugh was like grinding metal. "One ship. One human ship dares to threaten my armada. You amuse me, Captain. I am not making threats, Admiral. I am offering you a choice. Leave this system now, and your fleet will be allowed to depart. Safely." The alien commander's 4 eyes narrowed. "Your arrogance knows no bounds, human. Do you see my fleet? 800 warships from 12 different races. The greatest military force ever assembled. And you think one pathetic vessel can stand against us?" Lee looked directly into the alien's eyes. Yes, expression changed from amusement to anger. "Then you will die with the rest of your kind. I will personally oversee the enslavement of every human survivor. Your children will serve in my mines until they die of exhaustion." "Is that your final answer, Admiral? Consider this my declaration of war against all of humanity? Your species has grown too bold. It is time someone taught you your place in the galaxy." Lee closed the communication channel. He turned to his crew. "Well, we tried diplomacy. All stations, prepare for combat." On New Busan, the colonists watched their sensors in growing terror. The alien fleet had spread out into attack formation. Hundreds of ships now surrounded their world like a net of death. In the colony command center, Kim Nari coordinated the final defensive preparations. "Shield generators are at maximum power," reported Yoon Jaeon. "But they won't hold long against that many ships." Kim checked her tactical display. "Our patrol ships are moving to intercept positions. Not that it will matter much." Park Min-ho stood beside them, watching the approaching doom. "How long before they reach optimal firing range?" 6 hours, Kim replied. Maybe less if they decide to rush us. Across the colony, families hugged each other goodbye, while some prayed to their gods. Others simply waited. Han Soo-jin moved between the emergency shelters, trying to comfort the children who were too young to understand what was happening. Will the bad aliens hurt us? A little girl asked her. Han knelt down and took the child's hands. The brave people are going to protect us, she said softly. Just like in the stories. The girl nodded and hugged her stuffed animal tighter. Han wished she could believe her own words. Far out in space, the Indomitable began its final preparations. The ship's hull continued to shift and reconfigure. Weapon ports that had been hidden opened to reveal advanced cannon systems. The ship's quantum reactors hummed with barely contained power. Bae Hyanwoo worked at the weapons control station. His fingers danced across holographic displays as he brought the ship's arsenal online. Plasma cannons, quantum disruptors, gravitational pulse, generators. Weapons that most alien races could not even imagine. Weapons systems at full power, he reported. All firing solutions calculated and ready. Choi Dae-ho studied the tactical display. Enemy fleet is maintaining standard formation, or not. Expecting any real resistance? Perfect, Lee said. The element of surprise is our greatest advantage. Navigation Officer Kang Borum spoke up, course plotted for attack run. We'll hit them from the dark side of the system. By the time they detect us, we'll already be among them. Lee nodded. Execute. The Indomitable began to move. Unlike normal ships that relied on chemical rockets or basic fusion drives, this vessel used exotic matter manipulation for propulsion. It accelerated smoothly and silently. Building speed without producing any energy signature the aliens could detect back on the alien flagship. Grand Admiral Dexavar studied reports from his scouts. Any sign of the human ship? Negative, Admiral. It seems to have disappeared after our communication. Vexver's 4 eyes gleamed with satisfaction. Coward fled as expected. Typical human behavior when faced with superior force. One of his officers approached. Admiral, should we proceed with the attack on the colony? Yes. Begin bombardment as soon as we reach optimal range. I want their shields down within the first hour, and we land troops and begin the harvest. The alien fleet continued its advance. Toward New Busan, ship after ship moved into position. Gun ports opened, missile tubes loaded.
Ouch!
The largest military force in galactic history, prepared to destroy a small human colony. None of them noticed the dark shape moving through the void. Behind them, Indomitable slipped between the outer ships of the formation like a shark swimming through a school of fish. Its stealth systems kept it invisible to their sensors. Its crew prepared for 4 minutes that would change galactic history forever. Range to target? Lee asked quietly. Optimal firing position in 3 minutes? Choi replied. Enemy formation. Analysis. Standard attack pattern. Command ships in the center. Heavy cruisers on the flanks. Fighters screening the perimeter. They're not expecting any threat from behind. Lee allowed himself a small smile. The aliens had made a fatal mistake. They thought they were fighting humans using human technology. They had no idea that humanity had transcended its former limitations. All stations, final weapons check. Plasma systems ready. Quantum disruptors charged. Gravitational weapons standing by. Point defense grid active. Drone launch systems prepared. Lee took a deep breath. In 2 minutes, the galaxy would learn what humanity had become. In 2 minutes, 800 alien ships would discover that they had chosen the wrong enemy. Target the command ships first. Take out their leadership and coordination in the opening seconds. The Indomitable moved into position, its weapons locked onto multiple targets. The alien fleet continued forward, unaware that death was already. Among them, time seemed to slow as the final seconds counted down. On New Busan, families held each other tight. In space, alien crews prepared for what they thought would be an easy victory. Captain Lee Ju-wan watched the tactical display and spoke. 2 words that would echo through galactic history. Fire all. The first minute of destruction began in absolute silence. The Indomitable fired its opening salvo from the heart of the alien formation. Streams of coherent energy lanced out in all directions like spears of liquid lightning. Right. Each beam was perfectly aimed. Each shot calculated by quantum computers that could process 1,000,000 variables in microseconds. The first targets were the command ships. Grand Admiral Vexvar was studying his tactical display when his flagship simply ceased to exist. The plasma beam passed through the hull like it was made of paper. Matter broke down at the molecular level. Metal, plastic, flesh, bone, all of it became superheated gas in the space of a heartbeat. Vexvar had just enough time to see the impossible readings on his sensors before the bridge. Round him turned to glowing particles. His last thought was confusion. Where had the human ship come from? How had it gotten so close without being detected? Across the alien fleet, command vessels died in the same instant. The beam weapons did not simply destroy their targets, they erased them. Ships that had taken years to build and carried thousands of crew members became empty space in seconds. Captain Lee watched the tactical display with cold satisfaction. First wave targets eliminated, begin phase 2. The second minute brought chaos to the alien formation. With their command ships gone, the remaining vessels lost coordination. Some tried to retreat. Others opened fire in random directions, not sure where the attack was coming from. A few brave captains tried to organize counterattacks, but they had no way to communicate with the rest of the fleet. The Indomitable began to move through the formation like a dancer performing a deadly ballet. Its exotic matter drive allowed it to accelerate and turn in ways that defied physics as the aliens understood it. The ship could change direction instantly without affecting the crew inside. Bei Hun-woo worked his weapons console with practiced precision, switching to rapid-fire mode, targeting enemy cruisers. The human ship's point defense systems came online. When the confused aliens finally started shooting at the Indomitable, they discovered that nothing could reach it. Energy beams were absorbed by exotic matter fields. Missiles were destroyed by laser grids so dense they looked like solid walls of light. Projectile weapons simply bounced off hull plating that was harder than diamond. Omingi monitored alien communications. They're trying to call for reinforcements. Should I jam their signals? No need, Lee replied. Let them call. I want the galaxy to hear what happens next. An alien battlecruiser tried to ram the human ship. The massive vessel accelerated toward the Indomitable at full speed. His captain screamed orders to his crew as they prepared for a suicide attack. The human ship waited until the last possible second before sidestepping the charge like a matador avoiding a bull. The alien ship flew past harmlessly. Then the Indomitable fired a single shot into its reactor core. The explosion lit up space. Like a new star, the third minute brought true terror to the surviving aliens. Kong Borum activated the drone systems, launching hunter swarms. Thousands of small objects shot out from hidden ports along the Indomitable's hull. Each drone was no larger than a human fist, but they moved with impossible speed and grace. They spread out through the alien formation like a plague of mechanical locusts. The drones were controlled by artificial intelligence that had been trained on every known alien ship design. They knew exactly where to strike for maximum damage. Engine cores, weapon systems, life support, bridge sections. Tiny Hunter found its target. Cripple a capital ship. An alien destroyer tried to shoot down the approaching drones with its defensive guns. The weapon's fire lit up space as hundreds of cannon blazed away at the incoming swarm. But the drones moved like living things, dodging and weaving between the shots. When they reached the ship, they burrowed through the hull like metal termites. Destroyer's lights went out section by section. Its weapons fell silent. Its engines died. Within seconds, it was nothing more than a drifting hulk, Choi Daeho reported from his station. Enemy formation is completely broken. They're trying to scatter, but our jamming is preventing hyperspace jumps. Excellent. Begin the final phase. The fourth minute was when the aliens realized they had awakened something beyond their understanding. The remaining ships tried desperately to escape. Some captains ordered their crews to abandon ship. Now said others begged for mercy over open channels. A few still tried to fight, but their weapons were useless against technology they could not comprehend. The Indomitable positioned itself at the center of the scattered formation. Its hull began to glow with an inner light as its most powerful weapon charged up. The gravitational pulse generator drew energy from the ship's quantum reactors and focused it into a weapon that could manipulate the fundamental forces of reality. Gravitational pulse ready, Bay announced. All remaining targets are within effective range. Lee nodded. Fire. The weapon activated in complete silence. There was no flash of light, no dramatic explosion. Space itself seemed to ripple outward from the human ship like waves on a pond. When the waves reached the alien vessels, they simply crushed them. Hull plating crumpled like aluminum foil. Internal bulkheads collapsed. Crew members were pressed against walls by forces that no biological body could survive. Ships that had weathered decades of combat were reduced to compacted balls of scrap metal in seconds. On New Busan, the colonists stared at their sensor displays in disbelief. Communications officer Omingi on the planet's surface pressed her headset tighter against her ear. I'm getting readings from the battle zone. The alien fleet is... gone. Kim Nari looked over her shoulder. Gone? What do you mean gone? I mean, not there anymore. All 800 ships. They're just debris now. Park Min-ho felt his legs go weak. He sank into his chair and stared at the tactical display. Where moments before it had shown the largest alien armada in galactic history, now there was only empty space and scattered wreckage. How is that possible? Whispered Yoon Jae-yeon. I don't know, Park replied. But I think we just witnessed something that will change everything. In the emergency shelters, Han Soo-jin felt her communication device buzz. She read the message, and tears came to her eyes. She knelt down beside the little girl who had asked about the bad aliens. The brave people won, she said softly. We're safe now. The child smiled and hugged her stuffed animal. I knew they would. In space, the Indomitable hung motionless among the debris of its enemies. 4 minutes had passed since the battle began. 800 alien ships had been reduced to scrap metal and glowing gas. Not a single human life had been lost, Captain. Lee opened a communication channel to New Busan. It was time to introduce the colonists to the new reality of human power in the galaxy. The communication screen in the New Busan Command Center flickered to life. Captain Lee Guan appeared on the display, his calm face a stark contrast to the chaos his ship had just unleashed. Behind him, the bridge of the Indomitable hummed with quiet efficiency. Park Min-ho stared at the screen in stunned silence. This was the man who had just destroyed 800 alien warships in 4 minutes. He looked so ordinary, so human. There was no hint of the godlike power he commanded. Colony Administrator Park Lee said with a slight bow of his head, I am Captain Lee Juan of the United Earth ship Indomitable. New Busan is secure. Park found his voice with difficulty. Captain, we saw what happened. How was such a thing possible? Lee's expression grew thoughtful. That is a long story, Administrator. One that begins 5 years ago, when Earth made a decision that would change humanity forever. Kim Nari stepped forward. Captain, I served in the Earth Defense Force. I've never seen or heard of ships like yours. What happened to our military doctrine? Your military doctrine was never abandoned, Coordinator Kim. It was simply evolved beyond recognition. The captain gestured to someone off-screen. A woman in a science officer's uniform appeared beside him. She was young, perhaps 30, with intelligent eyes and short black hair. This is Science Officer Kong Borum. She can explain what you've witnessed better than I can. Kong bowed politely to the colonists. Honored colonists of New Busan, what you saw today was the result of humanity's greatest leap forward since we first discovered fire. Yoon Jae-yeon, the engineer, leaned forward. What kind of leap? 5 years ago, our scientists achieved 3 major breakthroughs simultaneously. Quantum consciousness mapping, exotic matter manipulation, and something we call reality interface technology. The colonists looked confused. Han Soo-jin spoke up. Could you explain that in simpler terms? Kong smiled. Of course, imagine if you could think as fast as a computer, control matter at the atomic level, and interface directly with technology using only your mind. That is what we achieved. Park felt a chill run down his spine. You're saying you've enhanced yourselves? Enhanced is too small a word, Captain Lee replied. We have evolved. Every member of my crew volunteered for the consciousness expansion process. We're still human, but we are also something more, the science officer continued. While the outer colonies developed using traditional technology, Earth's research programs made breakthrough after breakthrough. We learned to manipulate quantum fields, bend space and time, and create weapons that operate on principles most alien races cannot comprehend. Kim Nari's military training kicked in. How many ships like the Indomitable exist? Lee and Kang exchanged glances. That information is classified. But I can tell you that New Busan was never truly defenseless. Earth has been watching over all human colonies, protecting them from threats they never knew existed. On cue, more images appeared on the screen. Dozens of similar ships could be seen patrolling the edges of human space. Each one was crewed by enhanced humans. Each one carried weapons that could destroy entire fleets. We call it Project Guardian, Lee explained. While the galaxy saw humanity as weak and scattered, we were building a defense network unlike anything the universe has ever seen. Yoon stared at the images in amazement. But why keep it secret? Why let the colonies believe they were alone? Because knowledge of our capabilities would have started a galactic war, Kong replied. Every major alien power would have united against us. We needed time to complete our preparations. Park began to understand the bigger picture. We've been planning for this day. You knew they would eventually come for us. You knew that as humanity expanded into space, we would eventually face those who saw us as a threat or a resource too. Be exploited. The Velkari Empire was just the first to make a move. Han Soo-jin thought of the frightened children in the shelters. What does this mean for our future, for our children? Captain Lee's expression grew serious. This means the age of hiding is over. Today's demonstration will be seen across the galaxy. Every alien race will know that humanity has evolved beyond their expectations. The communication channel expanded. To show more of the Indomitable's bridge, the colonists could see crew members working at stations filled with technology that seemed almost magical. Holographic displays showed star maps that covered thousands of light years. Quantum computers processed information at speeds that made human thought seem slow. Choi Daeho, the tactical officer, appeared in the transmission. Administrator Park, we've been monitoring alien communications across this sector. Word of today's battle is already spreading. The galaxy is in shock. Some will see this as a declaration of war, added Bae Hoon-wo from his weapons station. Others will try to negotiate from a position of fear. A few might even attempt to ally with us. Mingi, the communications officer, looked up from her console. Captain, we're receiving priority messages from 17 different alien governments. They all want to establish diplomatic contact immediately. Lee nodded. Route them to Earth Command. Admiral Chen will handle the political fallout. Park realized the full scope of what was happening. This changes everything, doesn't it? Not just for us, but for the entire galaxy. Yes, Lee replied simply. The balance of power has shifted permanently. Humanity is no longer the galaxy's underdog. Kong pulled up more displays, showing the scope of humanity's secret development. We've established research stations in 17 star systems. Our quantum shipyards can build vessels like the Indomitable in a matter of weeks. Our enhanced crews can interface with their ships on a level that makes them nearly invincible in combat. But we are still human, Lee emphasized. We still care about protecting innocent lives. We still believe in the values that our species has always held dear. Power has not corrupted us. It has simply given us the ability to defend what we love. Kim studied the tactical displays showing the debris field where the alien fleet had been. What happens now? Now we wait to see how the galaxy responds to the new reality. Some races will accept that humanity has claimed its place among the stars. Others will try to challenge us. Lee's expression hardened slightly. They will learn the same lesson the Velkari learned today. The captain prepared to end the transmission. New Busan will be protected. Guardian ships will patrol this system regularly. You are no longer alone on the frontier. As the communication ended, the colonists sat in stunned silence. Everything they thought they knew about humanity's place in the galaxy had changed in 4 minutes of combat. Park looked around at his staff. "I think we need to send a very different kind of report to Earth Command." Outside, the children were emerging from the shelters, laughing and playing as if nothing had happened. They had no idea that they had just witnessed the birth of humanity. As a galactic superpower in space, the Indomitable prepared to depart, leaving behind only debris and the memory of impossible power unleashed in defense of human lives. 3 days after the battle, the galaxy trembled with the news of what had happened at New Busan. In the Grand Council chambers of the hegemony on the planet Nexus Prime, representatives from 47 different alien races gathered for an emergency session. The massive, circular hall buzzed with fearful whispers and urgent conversations. Chancellor Vexthera of the Morvat clans called the session to order with trembling claws. Her species had contributed 12 ships to the Valkyrie Armada. 12 ships that were now nothing but scattered atoms in space. "Fellow beings," she announced, her voice echoing through the chamber. "We face a crisis unlike any in galactic history. The humans have revealed military capabilities that exceed our worst nightmares." Ambassador Krellinox from the Zelthon Confederation stood up. His 3 heads spoke in unison. 800 ships destroyed in 4 minutes. Not defeated, destroyed. Completely. How is such power possible? "Our intelligence networks are in chaos," reported General Thakmer of the Hegemony Defense Forces. "Every spy we had watching human space reports the same thing. Ships appearing from nowhere. Technology that defies our understanding of physics. It's enhanced crews that interface directly with their vessels." In the viewing chamber above the main floor, the Korthok representative sat in silence. The crystal beings rarely spoke, but their thoughts could be felt by others in the room. Today those thoughts carried only one emotion: fear. Chancellor Vexthera activated the main display screen. Images from the battle filled the enormous viewing area. The assembled delegates watched in horrified fascination as the lone human ship moved through the Valkyrie fleet like death itself. "This recording was transmitted by the Valkyrie flagship in its final moments," she explained. "Watch how the human vessel moves. See how their weapons simply erase matter? Notice how none of our attacks even scratched their hull." The chamber fell into stunned silence as they watched 800 warships die in 4 minutes. Some delegates covered their eyes. Others made religious gestures. A few simply stared in disbelief. "The question before us is simple," Vexthera continued. "How do we respond to this new reality?" On New Busan, life was slowly returning to normal. Children played in the parks while their parents worked to rebuild the minor damage from the evacuation. But everyone knew that everything had changed forever. Ominji worked at her communication station in the colony command center. Her job had become much more interesting over the past 3 days. Messages poured in from across the galaxy. Alien governments wanted to establish trade relations. Scientists begged for technological exchanges. Military leaders requested defense treaties. "Another 50 messages today," she reported to Park Minho. "The hegemony wants to send a diplomatic mission. The Telerepublic is offering us exclusive mining rights to 3 star systems. The Vrex Empire wants to negotiate a non-aggression pact." Park shook his head in amazement. 3 days ago, no one in the galaxy cared about New Busan. Now everyone wants to be our friend? Kim Nari entered the command center with a grim expression. "I just received a priority message from Earth Command. Intelligence reports that several alien races are forming military alliances. They're planning some kind of response to what happened here." "What kind of response?" Park asked. "Unknown, but Admiral Chen wants us to be prepared for anything." Han Sujin continued her work at the medical center. The psychological impact of the battle was slowly becoming clear. Some colonists suffered from nightmares about the alien fleet. Others experienced anxiety about the enhanced humans who had saved them. Few worried about what the future would bring. Dr. Han called out one of her patients, an elderly farmer named Kim Diel-Su. "Are we safe now? Really safe?" Han sat down beside his bed. "The Guardian ships are watching over us. Captain Lee promised that New Busan would be protected." What about the rest of the galaxy? If they're angry about what happened here, won't they come back with even bigger fleets? Han had no answer for that question. None of them did. Deep in space, far from any inhabited system, more human ships were awakening. The Guardian fleet had been hidden across dozens of star systems, waiting for the day when humanity would need to reveal its true strength. That day had finally come. Captain Shin Minsu stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution as his ship dropped out of hyperspace. Around him, 23 other Guardian vessels materialized from the darkness. Each one was crewed by enhanced humans. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy entire civilizations. Fleet status report, he ordered. All ships report ready. For operations, replied his tactical officer. Guardian Command has transmitted our patrol assignments. We're to secure the Outer Rim territories against possible alien retaliation. Captain Shin nodded. The galaxy was about to learn that the Indomitable was not alone. Humanity had built an entire fleet of such vessels, hundreds of them, scattered across space like invisible guardians. On Earth, Admiral Chen stood in the war room beneath the capital city. Holographic displays showed the positions of Guardian ships across human space. Red markers indicated alien fleet movements. Green symbols marked human colonies now under active protection. Status report, he demanded from his staff. Guardian. Fleet deployment is proceeding on schedule, reported his aide. All human colonies are now under direct protection. Alien intelligence gathering has increased by 400%. Several races are mobilizing military forces. Expected response? Analysis suggests 3 possible scenarios. Option 1. The aliens accept the new balance of power and seek diplomatic solutions. Option 2. They form a coalition to test our capabilities. Option 3. They unite the entire galaxy against us in total war. Admiral Chen studied the galactic map and our response to each scenario. For scenarios 1 and 2, we continue current operations. For scenario 3, the aide paused. We implement Protocol Omega, the admiral's expression grew grave. Protocol Omega was humanity's final contingency plan. If the galaxy united against them, Earth was prepared to demonstrate power that would make the destruction of the Velkari fleet look like a minor skirmish. Back on New Busan, the colonists gathered for their evening meal in the main cafeteria. Families sat together, sharing food and conversation. The children laughed and played while their parents discussed the day's work. Yoon. Jaeon looked up at the night sky through the transparent ceiling. Somewhere up there, Guardian ships patrolled the darkness. Enhanced humans watched over them. With technology that seemed like magic, are we still human? He asked quietly. Han Sujin followed his gaze to the stars. I think we're becoming something more than human. Something that can protect itself and those it cares about. Is that good or bad? I don't know, but I'm grateful that when the darkness came for us, someone was there to stand in its way. High above the planet, invisible to the colonists below, 3 Guardian ships maintained their silent watch. Their enhanced crews monitored every approach vector, every communication signal, every hint of danger. Captain Lee Guan stood on the bridge of the Indomitable as it patrolled the outer system. His ship had started something that could not be stopped. The galaxy now knew that humanity had evolved beyond all expectations. Whether that evolution would bring peace or war remained to be seen. But one thing was certain. The age of human vulnerability was over. They had claimed their place among the stars, and they would defend it with power. The galaxy was only beginning to understand. In the depths of space, more Guardian ships waited in the darkness. Humanity's children were safe under their protection. And if the galaxy chose war over peace, it would learn that humans had become something far more dangerous than anyone had ever imagined. The new paradigm had begun. The galaxy would never be the same.